Excuse me. Sorry. All right, so whenever you go to the grocery store and put something in the cart, who here will regularly turn it around and look at the food label on the back? We got a few people. Okay. Right. And I want to mention, food labels are a relatively sort of new idea. For the longest time, we just didn't really have anything like that. And that's sort of how all food laws are. Consumer safety in food has been rapidly advancing and increasing in growth since the late 1800s, early 1900s. And with the changing food landscape that we have nowadays, more laws might be necessary. I'm a biochemistry student, and I picked this sort of topic to speak of because I have some previous experience with this, and I've studied a little bit into what happens when you ingest certain foods and some of the things that's put into them. And so I'm going to take a sort of chronological view of this from the very start of food legislation, food practices before the Pure Food and Drug Act and the creation of the FDA. The creation of the FDA and what they've sort of done to increase consumer health, and talk about food labels, and talk about different sort of the changing food environment that we have now, and what's been proposed and what might need to be done. So, I can set this right here for a second. I'm going to start by handing some of these out here. And just sort of pass these around, take a look at them, and just listen to what I'm saying. Again, no serious food allergies in the room. Anyone? All right, you take this, and you take this. Right. So, before we have some of the preservatives we have now, during the early 1900s, it was more common to use sort of whatever you can get your hands on. Bread that's being passed around, maybe it does feel light, maybe a little too light, So what better to add to it than rocks? Ground up rocks. Add a little bit of weight, give that nice white color to it. It's perfect. Sometimes bleach was used, only a tiny amount though. It'll be fine. The pickles that I have passed around, I don't know where those went exactly. Right, you got them. They look green, right? Nice and green. Yeah, a little crunchy. Maybe you want them more green. Might I suggest copper sulfate? Worked perfectly. Made them a little bit heavier too. You get that nice dense, crisp taste to it. A little bit of the metallic aftertaste. Milk and meat, commonly, it's already dead. Why not use embalming fluid? Because formaldehyde is commonly added to those. Because I don't know if anyone here has ever eaten formaldehyde, but it apparently has a little bit of a sweet taste to it. So that helps. Again, it's already dead, why not? Yeah. And normally these were in small amounts to the point where it wouldn't be too harmful to eat, is what I'd say if they weren't, but they weren't. You were regularly getting sick from this. In the Journal of Elisha Mitchell Scientific Society, Alvin S. Wheeler wrote in 1905, "Not only is the danger to the life and health of the consumer, but honest industry is seriously injured." Whoever has that, I believe it's strawberry preservatives right there? Strawberry preserves? Yeah, you got all of them. Yeah. Now, if you want to take a guess at what the main ingredient of strawberry preserves was in the year 1903, for example, if you got them on the cheap, the main ingredient was probably apple. Apple cores, apple bits, just scraped together, a few strawberries thrown in, some food coloring, and while I cannot confirm this one, there are reports of wood shavings. Why not, really? Makes you think. It could be alive today, huh? So, this was sort of public knowledge, but not really. And people for the longest time been fighting for clean food. And through the actions of several people, including notably the USDA chemist Dr. Harvey Wiley, which I could do a presentation on that man in his own right. He's done a lot of experiments. Eventually led to the creation of the FDA. The FDA was signed into law by President Theodore Roosevelt in the 1906 Pure Food and Drug Act as a sort of regulatory body to make everything that I just said not be happening, frankly. They also eventually did create food labels like you're seeing on the back of those. And you'll look at those. You got kind of all the information you can need about it. It's got your calories, it's got your caloric breakdown by what's in it, as an ingredients list, a serving size. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Everything you can need to know. Now, in the Journal of Agricultural Research and Economics, Sun Young Kim, Rodolfo M. Nega Jr., and Orla Capps Jr. wrote in the year 2000 that regularly reading the food labels on the back of your product can reduce intake of calories from total unsaturated fats as well as cholesterol and sodium, and most people will also eat more dietary fiber when they start looking at them, which is a really interesting sort of psychological effect of that. They also estimated that people, if everyone started regularly reading the back of their food, the nutrition labels on it, it could add to the U.S. over the next 20 years a total of 1.2 million years of life among everyone, and save $43 billion in medical expenses. With these sort of advancements on the horizon that we have now, though, some people say that more regulation needs to be taken into effect, and it's undeniable that more research needs to be done still. Most new chemical additives, which you'll notice on the back of this, are just entirely harmless. I say most, because I want to talk about aspartame for a second, which is a sweetener used regularly in diet sodas and a few other products. Now, according to the British Medical Journal in 2005, without an author listed, sorry about that, I would have loved to tell you, aspartame has 91 studies that point to harmful effects, headaches, joint issues later in life, depression, sort of thing. And 100% of industry-funded studies show it to be completely safe, with 92% of independent studies showing it to have harmful effects. Again, take that however you will. I'm not here to tell you how to think. Pesticide use is also a big issue. Aaron Blair, Beat Ritz, Catherine Westland, and Laura Bean Freeman wrote in a 2015 article in the Occupational Environmental Medicine Journal. They cite pesticide misuse being one of the major contributors of cancer of the lung, lymphatic system, and prostate somehow. Don't ask me. Dioxin, which is used in several pesticides, is listed as a well-known carcinogen. And they cite that in 1980, harmful use of pesticides could have possibly killed 220,000 people and led to the poisoning of 3 million, which they also said are likely gross understatements. We have a tendency, they also point out, to replace something we have with a known bad effect to something with an unknown side effect, which can be incredibly hazardous to health. Think of examples like Roundup weed killer by Monsanto, now a known carcinogen. With these new ways that people are preparing food and taking care of crops, as well as new food alternatives being created, there are always new regulations that need to be considered. This fight for pure food has been going on since the 1890s until today, and it's not over yet. So I hope I've instilled you with both a knowledge and maybe a little bit of wariness too. And the next time you go to the store, turn around that box of Cheerios before you put it in your cart. And if you're the only one who does it, that's 1.2 million years added to your life. Thank you.